Okay, so this morning we are ready for Genesis chapter 27. This is about Jacob's deception. Genesis chapter 27 says, "Now it came about when Isaac was old, and his eyes were too dim to see, that he called his older son Esau, and said to him, My son, and he said to him, Here I am. Isaac said, Behold now, I am old, and I do not know the day of my death. Now then, please take your gear, your quiver, and your bow, and go out into the field and hunt game for me, and prepare a savory dish for me, such as I love, and bring it to me, that I may eat, so that my soul may bless you before I die." Now, if you remember, Esau was an archer. He was a hunter. He loved to be out in the open doors and go hunting and fishing, and I guess you could say he was a man's man. He was one of those people. He's kind of like, we all like to hunt and fish. So I'm not saying that everything about Esau was bad. What was bad about Esau is that he cared about no one but himself. That's all he thought about. He didn't think about a future or about an afterlife, or he was only concerned with the here and now. And so many people in the world are like that. And they're not all. That doesn't mean they're always all bad. Okay? They might be likable people. They might be people that we deal with or talk with every day, and we think, man, they're nice people, But that doesn't mean that they have given any thought or trusted anyone but self. Does that make sense? They totally trust themselves, and they think about only the here and now, and me, myself, and I. And although they're friendly and nice and all that, when push comes to shove, it's about them, not about anyone else. And so it says, Rebekah was listening while Isaac spoke to his son Esau. So when Esau went to the field to hunt for game to bring home, Rebekah said to her son Jacob, Behold, I heard your father speak to your brother Esau, saying, Bring me some game and prepare a savory dish for me, that I may eat and bless you in the presence of the Lord before my death. Now therefore, son, listen to me, as I command you. Go now to the flock and bring me 2 choice young goats from there, that I may prepare them as a savory dish for your father, such as he loves. Now, if there was a deception here, you have to understand there was 2 people involved in it. Oftentimes, sin loves a partner. Although there was no law given at that time to not lie, I'm sure that they knew that it wasn't right to lie. Our nature tells us that, right? Verse 10 says, Then you shall bring it to your father, that he may eat it, so that he may bless you before his death. Jacob answered his mother Rebekah, Behold, Esau, my brother, is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. I often wonder about that. Jacob was blind by this time. If you remember, it said, in verse 1 it says, or Isaac, not Jacob, Isaac was blind. It says Isaac was old, and his eyes were too dim to see. But Jacob was, how would you say it? I got it ringing in my ear.
I don't think that's how you say it.
No, it's not how you say it. No, it's all right. I had a bad ringing in my ear. I don't know why. Jacob was smooth. So smooth that his father, without seeing him, could touch him and tell it was not Esau. And so Jacob is like, I'm a smooth man. He's going to know. And he says, perhaps my father will feel me. Then I will be as a deceiver in his sight, and I will bring upon myself a curse and not a blessing. So Jacob felt like that if Isaac could bless him, he could also curse him. It says, but his mother said to him, your curse be on me, my son. Only obey my voice and go get them for me. So he went and got them and brought them to his mother. And his mother made savory food, such as his father loved.
I just have to wonder if it's the dish that he loved that she prepared for him. Wouldn't he have recognized it and known that it wasn't game?
Well, you have to wonder though, where did Esau learn to make that dish? Most likely.
Well, yeah, but he said game, so he was hunting something wild.
Yeah, exactly. He was, and to me, when I eat wild game versus domesticated game or animals, I can tell a difference. I don't know why.
If you season it enough, you can take the game out of it.
Yeah, that's right. If you season it enough, you can take the game and taste out of it. But most of the time, if somebody doesn't know what they're doing, I can eat a deer versus a goat, okay, and I can tell the difference.
Right.
I just has that wild taste to it that you don't have in a tame goat. But Rebecca obviously felt like she could fix it where it wouldn't, he wouldn't know.
And he was also, his taste buds may not have been acting right either.
Yeah, you know. Let's get off Bible study.
Okay. That wasn't very nice, Wesley. I'm not laughing at you, Mom. I'm laughing with you.
He's laughing at Wesley because of the look you gave Wesley.
That's right.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of the camera caught that, but that was really actually pretty funny.
No, we don't need to repeat it. You better be doing some editing stuff.
Then Rebecca took the best garments of Esau, her elder son, which were with her in the house, and put them on Jacob, her younger son. And she put the skin of the young goats on his hands and on the smooth part of his neck. She also gave the savory food and bread which she made to her son Jacob.
How do you suppose she made the hair stick to his skin?
Needle.
Well, no, it's sticky when you skin it. That's cool. I don't know. I've thought of this. I mean, I really have. I don't know. I mean, obviously,
They had ways, obviously.
Well, all this didn't happen in one day's timing.
Sure it did.
Not necessarily.
This part did. Think about it. It would get smelly, the goat hair or the skin or whatever, you didn't do it soon. But my question is
Collar's messed up.
my collar's messed up?
Other side.
It'll be alright. Even if I can't see, if I reach out and feel, he would have had to put all over his, it says to put on his neck, but what about his face, What about, I don't know, I don't know. I don't know how it worked out, but it did. If you remember something, yesterday, in our, was it yesterday when the twins were born, or was it the day before when the twins were born? No, it was the day before. It says, in verse 23 of chapter 25, it says, and the older shall serve the younger. This was preordained by God. And we call it a deception, and it is. He does lie to his father, okay? But it was still, and although God doesn't cause anyone to sin, I'm not saying that, okay? God doesn't cause anyone to sin. It doesn't, I mean, it says in James, okay, that God causes no one to sin, okay? He cannot sin, and he does not cause anyone else to sin. So, at the same time, this was still preordained by God. Before God told Rebekah that Esau would serve Jacob, before they were ever even born. It says, then he came to his father and said, my father. And he said, here I am. Who are you, my son? Jacob said to his father, I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you told me. Please, get up, please. Sit and eat of my game, that you may bless me. Isaac said to his son, how is it that you have it so quickly, my son? And he said, because the Lord your God caused it to happen to me. Do you notice what he says? The Lord your God, not the Lord my God. I guess at this point he didn't know God yet. For us that seems strange, okay? Because we live in America where we think everybody, I mean, when I was a boy growing up, I thought everybody was a Christian. Many pastors have portrayed it for years that, and there was no Christianity at this time, I understand that, but they didn't even know God. Unless God revealed himself to someone, they did not know God. Does that make sense? There was no Bible. There was no way for anyone to know God unless God chose to reveal himself to that person. And God gives the Holy Spirit to convict the world of sin. That's his Holy Spirit, to convict the world of sin. The way I understand it, the Bible, that didn't happen until after Jesus went back up to heaven. Yeah. Anyway, so he says, because the Lord your God caused it to happen to me. Then Isaac said to Jacob, please come close that I may feel you, my son, whether you are really my son Esau or not. Isaac knew something was fishy here. He was, in his mind, he was like, he couldn't have shot a deer or a goat or whatever he went after and brought it back and skinned it and prepared it and all that stuff and then made a stew out of it in that short a time. He was like, something's not right here. But at the same time, he knew, in his mind, he knew there was a way to make sure he's going to reach out and touch. But would you only touch in one spot? Think about it. Wouldn't you touch a lot of places? His face, his arms. I mean, and then, here's the other thing. Just how hairy was Esau. So if he took and Rebekah put the skin of a goat on his arm, on his neck, that's really hairy. It's like a animal. And I'm like, man, that was a hairy man. So Jacob came close to Isaac, his father, and he felt him and said, the voice is the voice of Jacob. So he knows the voices are even different. But the hands are the hands of Esau. So it had to be on his hands.
He put it on his hands and his neck. mom did.
He did not recognize him because his hands were hairy, like his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him. And he said, "Are you really my son Esau?" And he said, "I am." That was the lie. He also said, "I am your son Esau. I am Esau, your firstborn," in verse 19. In verse 25 he says, "So he said, bring it to me, and I will eat of my son's game, that I may bless you." And he brought it to him, and he ate. He also brought him wine, and he drank. Now, obviously, she had prepared it in a way that he ate it, and he thought it was his son's game. He thought it was, most likely, Esau learned to make the food, or make this dish, from Rebekah in the first place, the way he liked it. So Rebekah was able to make it the way he liked it. Verse 26 says, "Then his father Isaac said to him, Please come close and kiss me, my son. So he came close and kissed him. And when he smelled the smell of his garments, he blessed him and said, See, the smell of my son is like the smell of a field, which the Lord has blessed. Now may God give you of the dew of heaven, and of the fatness of the earth, and an abundance of grain and new wine. May people serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be master of your brothers, and may your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be those who curse you, and blessed be those who bless you." Now it came about as soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, and Jacob had hardly gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. Then he also made savory food, and brought it to his father, and said to his father, "Let my father arise and eat of his son's game, that you may bless me." Isaac his father said to him, "Who are you?" And he said, "I am your son, your firstborn Esau." Then Isaac trembled violently and said, Who was he then that hunted game and brought it to me, so that I ate of it? So that I ate of all of it before you came and blessed him. Yes, and he shall be blessed. When Esau heard the words of his father, he cried out with an exceedingly great bitter cry, and said to his father, "Bless me, even me also, my father." Now, I've often wondered, I don't know, maybe this don't go through other people's heads, why couldn't he bless both of them? I often wonder, why couldn't you bless two people, more than one person? But for some reason that was not an option. Ears still ringing. I must have a problem in my head this morning. Verse 35 says, "And he said, Your brother came deceitfully and has taken away your blessing." Then he said, "Is he not rightly named Jacob? For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he has taken away my blessing." And he said, "Have you not reserved a blessing for me?" But Isaac replied to Esau, "Behold, I have made him your master, and all his relatives I have given to him as servants. And with grain and new wine I have sustain him. Now as for you then, what can I do, my son? Esau said to his father, Do you have only one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. So Esau lifted his voice and wept. And then verses 39 through 40, 39 and 40. Man, that had, I don't know, I think I'd have just almost as soon not had anything said to me, but this is what Isaac said to him. Then Isaac his father answered and said to him, Behold, away from the fertility of the earth shall be your dwelling, and away from the dew of heaven from above. Do you see the difference in, I mean, it's almost the opposite of what he said to Jacob. It says, by your sword you shall live, and your brother you shall serve. It shall come about, when you become restless, that you will break his yoke from your neck. So Esau bore a grudge against Jacob because of the blessing with which his father had blessed him. And Esau said to himself, The days of mourning for my father are near. Then I will kill my brother Jacob. Now when the words of her elder son Esau were reported to Rebekah, she sent and called her younger son Jacob and said to him, Behold, your brother Esau is consoling himself concerning you by planning to kill you. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice and arise and flee to Aram, to my brother Laban. Stay with him a few days until your brother's fury subsides, until your brother's anger against you subsides, and he forgets what you did to him. Now, a few days turned into a lot of years, as we will see. But I like what she said here. I think she forgot who was involved in this. She says, until your brother's anger against you subsides, and he forgets what you did to him. I think she forgot who. It wasn't just what he did. She did it also.
Well, she was kind of the instigator, and she said, obey me.
Exactly. Then I will send and get you from there. Why should I be bereaved of you both in one day? And then this is the way Rebekah kind of sets it up with Isaac, I think. It says, Rebekah said to Isaac, I am tired of living because of the daughters of Heth. Remember the daughters of Heth, that's who Esau took wives from. If Jacob takes a wife from the daughters of Heth, like these, from the daughters of the land, what good will life be to me? And so then the next chapter is where Isaac sends Jacob away to go get a wife from their kin. Okay. That's kind of a neat story, the way that happened. We see God's ordaining hand there. We see providence, okay? We see providence there. But we cannot say that God caused any of that to happen, but we can also see from the 2 chapters before that God knew exactly what was going to happen. We also see that God ordained it to happen, and He allowed it to happen. It's kind of like, when bad things happen in the world, we want to lay blame to someone else. We want to say, well, it's all Satan. But the honest truth about it is, Satan can only do what God allows him to do. God gave Paul, to keep him from becoming proud, a demon to torment him. Not saying it possessed him, but to torment him. And he dealt rest of his life. And the reason God did that was so he would not become proud, because Paul had received, his message, the stuff that he wrote directly from God, directly from Christ, I should say. All right, any thoughts? All right. Well, let's close in prayer and we'll get our day started. All right. Father God, thank you for this day, Lord. Thank you for being with us through the night, for your word. Lord, I pray that you speak to us and help us to understand, Lord. Help us to realize that you are totally in control of all things. Lord, I just ask that you go with us today. Lord, help us to get the things done we need to do. I ask, Father, that you just, your love would just flow through us. For those that we are in contact with, we come to know you because of us. Father, whatever we say and do, we bring glory to you. I pray, Father, that you would break us for the lost. That you would, Lord, take any pride and arrogance out of us. That we would totally come to know that we have absolutely no hope without you. And just go with us today and help us to get the things done we need to do. Give us what we found. I pray in Jesus' name.